Hello everyone. In the present session, I'll cover FC frame. An FC frame consisting of 5 parts. Those are start of frame, also called as SOF, frame header, data field, cyclic redundancy check, that is CRC, and end of frame. So start of frame SOF and end of frame EOF acts as delimiters. In addition to this rule, the SOF is a flag that indicates the whether the frame is the first frame in the sequence or not. So in order to identify whether that respective frame is the first frame in the sequence of frames or not, the frame header is 24 bytes long and contains addressing informations for the frame. The frame header is around 24 bytes long and contains addressing informations for the frame. So it also includes the following informations like source ID, destination ID, sequence ID, sequence count, originating exchange ID, that is OX ID, and responder exchange ID in addition to some control fields. So here the source ID and destination ID are the standard FC addresses for the source port and the destination port respectively. So the source ID and destination ID are nothing but the source port ID and destination port ID respectively. The sequence ID and the sequence ID and the originating exchange ID OX ID identifies the frame as a component of specific sequence and exchange respectively. So the sequence ID specifies the components of specific sequence, and originating exchange ID, which specifies or identifies the frame as a component of exchange. So here we can observe that we are having SOF. So this is actual frame format. So it consisting of SOF, frame header, optional header, payload, CRC, end of frame. And so this frame header once again consisting of these many fields like RCTL, DID, that is destination ID, source ID, type, sequence ID, parameters, etc. So sequence ID and sequence count, so those will behave as sequence trackers, and exchange ID and RX ID so will behave as local remote exchange identifiers used to look up exchange state at endpoints. And we are having fabrics assigned, that is fabric ID, fabric login source destination with respect to the different ports. So that is source ID and the destination IDs. Source port ID as well as destination port ID. So this is how the actual FC frame format looks like. So we'll take individual fields in detail. So first we'll take routing control or RCTL. So routing control or RCTL. So this field denotes whether the frame is a link control frame or data frame. So routing control identifies whether the type of the frame is a link control frame or a data frame. So routing control specifies the type of the frame. The type of the frame may be either link control frame or a data frame. So link control, what is the meaning of link control? What is the meaning of link control frame? So link control frames are non-data frames that do not carry any payload. What is the meaning of link control frame? So link control frame, so it will not carry any data or payload. So these frames are used for setup and messaging. So these are used in order to perform the connection establishment as well as messaging. In contrast, I can say that the data frames will carry the payload and are used for data transmissions. So data frames will, as the name specifies, the data frames will carry the data, that means the payload, and used for data transmission. So the routing control field specifies the type of the frame. Either it may be link control, or else it may be data frame. Data frame carries the data, but link control frame does not carry any data. So next we'll take class specific control, CSCTL. So this field specifies link speed for class 1 and class 4 data transmission. So class specific control specifies the link speed for class 1 as well as class 4 data transmission. So next comes type field. Next comes the type field. So this field describes the upper layer protocol to be carried on the frame if the data is data frame. If the frame is a data frame, so it describes the upper layer protocol, that is ULP, to be carried on the frame. So type field specifies if the frame is data frame, which specifies the upper layer protocol to be carried on the frame. However, if it is a link control frame, this field is used to signal an event such as fabric busy. For example, if type is 8, the value of type field is 8 and the frame is data frame, the type of the frame is data frame, this means that SCSI will be carried on the FC architecture. So if the type field is 8 as well as the type of the frame is data frame, this means that within FC we are using SCSI protocol. So next comes data field control, DFCTL. So which is of around 1 byte field that indicates the consistence of any optional header at the beginning of the payload. So data field control specifies any additional header or existence of any optional header at the beginning of the data payload. So it is a mechanism to extend header information into the payload. So it's a mechanism to extend the header. So that means the optional header at the beginning of the payload. So next comes frame control. So the frame control field is of 3 byte. So the field that contains control informations related to frame content. Frame control specifies some set of control informations which are related to a frame content. For example, one of the bits in this field indicates whether this is the first sequence of exchange or not. So for example, out of 3 byte, one bit will specify one particular bit will specify whether this field indicates that whether this is the first sequence of exchange or not, whether this is the first or second or third, in which particular sequence we are sending the data. So next comes the data field. In an FC frame contains the payload up to so within the FC frame will be having the payload up to 2112 bytes. So maximum payload we can consider within FC frame is 2112 bytes of original data. In most cases, the SCSI data. The biggest possible payload an FC can deliver is 2112 bytes of data with 36 bytes of fixed overhead. So next we'll take structure and organization of FC data. So here, while exchanging the data, how exactly the exchange operations will take place. So while exchanging the data, an exchange operation enables two ports to identify and manage the set of information units. So whenever if you are considering ports, so those ports may be the two ports means one port across source as well as one port across the destination. So this unit maps to a sequence. Sequence can be both unidirectional or else bidirectional. So sequence means I can take either unidirectional sequence or bidirectional sequence. The data can be transmitted either bidirectional or the data can be transmitted as unidirectional. So depending upon the type of the data sequence, so I have to consider what kind of data we are sending, what is the sequence. So sequence exchange between the initiator and the target. So the source and destination, I will consider the source as initiator and the destination as target. Initiator and the target. So next we'll take sequence. A sequence refers to a contiguous set of frames that are sent from one port to another. So the sequence means it's continuous set of frames that are sent from one port to the another. A sequence corresponds to an information unit as defined by the ULP, upper layer protocol. The sequence corresponds to an information unit or set of informations. So those set of informations are defined by the upper layer protocol. So next comes frame. A frame is a fundamental unit of data transfer at layer 2. So each frame contains up to, as I mentioned before, each frame contains up to 2112 bytes of payload. So next we'll take flow control. So flow control defines how exactly the data flow or flow of data frames can be controlled during data transmission. So during flow control, I'll be having one sender unit and as well as I'll be having one receiver unit. So this is nothing but receiver as well as sender. Suppose the sender is sending the data in some data rate. I'll take it as X kilobytes per second. But at the receiver side, the receiver is not having that much capacity to receive all the data, that is X kilobits per second. So at that instant, the receiver will place its request to the sender in order to slow down the data rate. This one, slow down the data rate. So that is nothing but flow control. So the receiver is requesting the sender in order to slow down the actual data rate, what exactly it is sending. So that is called as flow control. So in the case of FC technology uses two flow control mechanisms. So first mechanism is BB credit, buffer to buffer credit, and the other one is end to end credit, that is called as EE credit. So we'll take one by one how exactly the flow control concept can be implemented with respect to FC technology. So in the case of BB credit, FC uses the BB credit mechanism for hardware based flow control. So if it is the mechanism used is hardware based flow control, the FC will use buffer to buffer credit. So in the case of buffer to buffer credit, controls the maximum number of frames that can be present over the link at any given point of time. So if you are using BB credit or buffer to buffer credit, so which controls the maximum number of frames that can be present over a single link. So in a switched fabric, BB credit management takes place between any two FC ports. So always the BB credit will takes place with respect to between any two FC ports. So next we'll take EE credit. So the function of end-to-end credit, also known as EE credit, which is similar to that of buffer to buffer credit. So when an initiator and the target establishes a node communication between each other, they can exchange EE credit parameters. So that means part of port logging. So whenever if you are having one initiator block, and we are having one more target block. So whenever the actual communication takes place between initiator and the target, initiator and target can exchange some set of informations. So that means part of port login. So when the initiator and target establishes a node communication between each other, they can exchange EE credit parameters. So this is nothing but EE credit parameters. So the EE credit mechanism affects the flow control for class 1 and class 2 traffics only. So you can make use of EE credit mechanisms only in order to achieve the flow control with respect to class 1 and class 2 traffics only.